Hello, lords and ladies of YouTube, and welcome back to Nightly Gaming's Nightly Gaming. And today I'm going to try doing a new thing that I want to try doing every Sunday, which is a purely gaming news show. I have no idea what I'm going to call it yet, but it's going to be a thing. At least I'm going to try and see if it'll become a thing. So today we're going to actually be talking about how ArenaNet's MMORPG Guild Wars 2, the MMO that I play for MMO Monday, is actually going free to play. So they announced they went into this in more detail over at PAX that Guild Wars 2 has for the longest time been pay $60 once, you get access to the game, including the events in the world and things like that. But they're releasing their first expansion on October 23rd, called Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns. And with the purchase of Heart of Thorns with the expansion pack, you get the core game for free in its full state. But they also announced that you can play the game in a slightly lesser form, but you get the core game in its entirety, in all the story, all the events, everything like that, for free. You can play it for free. You just download it and play. Now, I think this is actually a great way of doing business. One, they are going to, obviously the players that have been enjoying and playing the game are going to buy the expansion and play that. But then there's also going to be new players who are going to be coming in who are willing to, just buy the expansion for, just a one-time fee thing, and play from there. Then there's another group of people who aren't going to be sure about buying the expansion, are going to play the game for free, going to enjoy it, and then going to buy the expansion when they get to end-game content. But this is all going to benefit the game overall because there's going to be more people that are going to play the game. I'll be able to, talk to friends and go like, yeah, no, Guild Wars 2 is a great game, you should play it with me. And then instead of going, yeah, but it's $60, I don't know, they can go, okay, I'll play for free for a while and then see if I like it, and if I do, then I can buy the expansion and we can play end-game content and stuff like that together. So I think it's going to grow the community overall, which a larger MMO community tends to make not always make a better MMO community, but usually makes the MMO experience better because the characters in game are a lot of the content. The social aspect of MMOs are, it's undeniable. Not to mention when you go to like world versus world maps, and there's huge groups of people, and if you can have more people on at more time, it stays feeling grand and important all the time, rather than just occasional times when guilds decide to hop in and raid the enemy, and the enemy has like 4 people around going like, well, this isn't going to end well for us. So I think it's going to benefit the community overall, make the game more engaging. Now, the interesting parts about what they're doing is actually how they're limiting free players in order to reduce some of the toxicity and cheating that can come out of the free player community. So they're doing things like limiting your chat, so you can still talk normal as much as you want, but you can't just spam world chat. So that way you don't get people going in there with advertisements, spamming the world chat, filling it up with, basically just commercials for, go to this website, get free gold, all that kind of annoying, spammy, kind of shady stuff. They're also doing things like limiting how you interact with the shop, so you can't, you can still buy and sell a lot of the basic stuff, but some of the other stuff you're not able to deal with because they don't want people cheating to get more items than messing up with the player economy by spamming either hacked gold and or items into the shop. So it lets them control the economy of Guild Wars 2, which is actually very important in an MMO RPG. A lot of people don't realize it, but like, for example, World of Warcraft, there's actual like economic classes that study their in-game player economy, to show inflation and show regulation and show how to do checks and balances and releases when you start getting hyperinflation, and different things like that, and also how how it affects the lower class, aka the new players who don't have the same kind of gold. Um, yeah, so Guild Wars 2, this whole thing is interesting for me. I mean, they've always had the concept of paying no monthly fees. You pay it once, you play as long and as much as you want, and you don't have to pay the monthly fees. They are still going to have their normal in-game transactions. They do have a store where you can buy different things for real money, but it's not like a pay-to-win type model. It's more along the lines of how a lot of MOBAs do things, which is, here's some cool skins or little knickknacks that don't really affect the gameplay too much, but are fun for personalization type of things. They also do things like, hey, yeah, we give you this many character slots when you sign up for the game, but you can buy more character slots if you want to have like 8 to I think it comes with I want to say 5 or so. I've bought a few extra slots already, so it didn't matter because I wanted to support the game when it first came out as much as possible, and with only a $60 purchasing price, and I played for played consistently for the first like 6 months of release, and now I'm started to get back into it. I bought new character slots and things like that because I wanted to make more characters. With that said, there is ways of getting some extra experience or things like that, I believe. But no, they're not. They've made it very clear they're not going with the free-to-play business model of everyone buy everything always. Stand in line to get an extra 20 levels by giving us $20. Get to end game faster. No, what they're doing is they're intentionally trying to make it stick with their current system. Which is, buying skins for your armor, buying little pets that follow you around, things like that. They're trying to stick to that as much as possible, while also allowing players to come in free because they know it's going to benefit their community overall, and going to attract more players that are going to then buy Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns. Now, getting to the actual expansion, they're adding in quite a few things. They are adding in raid dungeons, which is actually new to Guild Wars 2. They've had dungeons before. They've had big, long world event quest things, but they've never had like a true raid before. So with that said, they're doing a couple things that are interesting with the raids. So one, they claim that they've designed the raids to be able to accommodate different group builds. So you're not going to need you're not going into it with necessarily needing to have a healing priest and a warrior tank and all the traditional stuff you get out of raids. It's instead they're intentionally going with the fact that each player can play the role that they like to play and can fill the different roles to some degree, so they can all work together to do what they want. Which is one thing that's been nice about Guild Wars 2 is the open-endedness of the different classes. You can be a damage dealer or a tank with the Guardian, or you can be a slightly more support class where you're dropping like healing sigils and things like that and healing everyone, and are giving them shields and things like that. So you can, in all the different groups, you can do kind of a little bit of everything. So that's nice. That means that players are going to get to play what they want to play, and you're not going to be either stuck waiting for hours for the one person playing the healer, and or being stuck playing as the healer when you don't want to. A few of the other things they're doing is they're intentionally not adding in new ridiculous items, which is a very interesting way of dealing with power creep, in my opinion. So power creep is something that happens over time when you start introducing new and better items, and or a good example is actually in card games. So if you look back at card games where when you buy the first pack, you'll be like, oh, this card is super strong, but then like 2, 3, 4, 5 different sets of cards later, you're like looking back at the cards from the first pack you ever got, and you're like, well, that card is total junk now. It hasn't grown in the way that the other cards have gotten better and better, because they want you to buy new stuff, so they have to make the new stuff better. So you want to go get it. That's not the case with Guild Wars 2. They are intentionally steering away from that, because what they're trying to do is make it to where the content itself is worth doing rather than the prize you get at the end. So instead of just scaling new items and things like that, they're intentionally trying to keep it in line with things, so you get other non-weapon based reward from doing the quests, which I think is a good way to go. It helps keep the world kind of balanced. If they started to succumb to power creep, then it very quickly gets out of balance. Weapons that were once good are worthless. Things that you spend hours and hours grinding for suddenly become, looking back at it, a waste of time. So I think it's healthier for the community overall. Plus, it allows newer players, when they come in, to, if I get this, then then sweet, I can have a good item that is legitimately good without having to go to this expansion or this expansion or this expansion and do these things in order to get the good items. You could argue it might potentially hurt sales a little bit, but I actually think in long term it's going to give them enough positive feedback from the community that it'll actually end up benefiting them, because more people will come in, more people will be willing to spend the money on a company that they enjoy the practices of and things like that. So I think that'll be hopefully something that future MMOs will follow. Let's see. Oh, another thing that they're doing here is they're adding guild halls for your guild. So they're creating, basically, the players, a player guild will get to own a small little chunk of area where they will build a big grand fortress to house their guild. And it'll be an area that they can, have their own little private duels, even maybe in guild tournaments. You can do all sorts of things here. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be another way for the social aspect to evolve. Allow guilds to have a physical representation of their guild rather than just seeing each other and going, yeah, hey, cool, we're in the same guild. Now they'll actually have a place to call their own that they can hold on to, and people can visit and see, oh yeah, no, that guild's the one with the cool big black spire, right? Things like that. So it'll get I think it'll really make the actual guilds in game much more interesting. Make it much less of a just convenience thing and turn it into an actual kind of social community thing for more people. I know there's some people who already have it as a community thing, but there's going to be more people who are going to view it as a community. Let's see, what else? They've also promised more world events and things like that. But overall, I think the biggest changes are going to be the raid systems, the way they're dealing with the power creep and the guild halls. There's some other small things too. More story missions, continuation, things like that. Now back to the free-to-play thing and how that's going to work. So it's still going to be, whenever you buy the expansion, you get the unrestricted access to the core world. So you can play that free-to-play, but like I said, there's the limitations on things like chat restrictions, your effects on the economy type of restrictions. You're also limited on how you can whisper with people. You can only whisper start a new conversation every 30 seconds, so that way you can't just spam everybody. Same idea as the world chat. You can't make a bot that's just going to spam everybody with commercials and other types of advertising. So that's going to be good, I think, overall, and it's going to lead to more people getting into the game, buying the expansion, enjoying, making the world a better place, and making the overall room bigger. So I think that will be good, and hopefully it goes off as planned and turns out as good as I hope it will be. So I don't know, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Anyways, that's going to be it for the video. If you guys have any comments on things you would want me to talk about next week on Sunday, or things you would want me to do differently with the format, or anything else that you want to say, comments down below. Always appreciate the feedback. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up or a like button down below. Otherwise, if you guys want to see more of my channel, whether it be my gaming videos, MMO Monday, which I play Guild Wars 2 on every Monday, or if you want to start seeing the new gaming news video thing every Sunday, subscribe down below, and I'll pop up in your feed every day. And then, yeah, I guess that's it. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.